This is number 8 in Revelation after Surah Takwir. So it's from very early period, and the ulama say starting from this surah all the way till Iqra, including Iqra. Now these 10 surahs basically, in here Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been addressed directly. So just to link it in the last ayah basically, we'll talk about other linking later on, but this is one of the link basically. And there Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been told to show some patience and wait for the decision of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yeah, فَمَهِّلِ الْكَافِرِينَ أَمْهِلْهُمْ رُوَيْدًا. And so he needs to give respite, like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving a respite to these criminals, and he needs to be fully content that these criminals are in total control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now when he's been told to do that, in this surah Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is totally ignoring them and speaking to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and saying basically, and like giving glad tidings to Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that everything that happens in the kingdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are in gradual stages. Not everything is manifested in one go. Yeah, for example, you put a seed down, and then tree takes long time before it becomes a full-blown tree where you take fruits out of it. Same thing with the sperm, before it becomes a big man like you. Yeah, it starts from somewhere slow. It does not become sudden. Everything does not become in one go. Same thing with the Quran itself. Yeah, it started small portion. Then after 22 point so many months, years, the Quran was revealed. Yeah, total came in that fashion. Same thing, everything, whether it is the rahmah, the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether they are the wraths of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they all come in gradual stage. So you do not expect that you are upset with someone, or you do not like someone suddenly, and then you raise your hand, and then you expect the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be coming down on the guy. Yeah, do not expect that kind of thing. Do not go in that fairy tales things. Yeah, does that make sense? So this is, we link it in our lives as well. Yeah, we're not only speaking about Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but how is it relevant to us? Yeah, so that's why we have to add few tweaks to it. Okay, and this surah and the next surah are in one pair basically. And Sabbih Isma Rabbikal A'la is like the head. It is the head of the rest of the surahs. All the surahs, the 10 surahs that we mentioned, yeah, they will have some sort of linking with Sabbih Isma Rabbikal A'la. We may do that, and we may ignore that because we got so many things to do basically. But now, what is the claim of this surah? What is the main essence? What is the main theme that's going in this surah? This is Tawheed wa Tazheed min ad-dunya. So the Tawheed and this discouragement from dunya. Sabbih Isma Rabbikal A'la, it is Tawheed. Bal tu'thiruna al-hayat ad-dunya. The things which is standing between you and Allah, meaning Tawheed. Between these two, the things that are standing, it is this love of dunya, this hub of dunya. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is discouraging you from this. Does that make sense? What is happening here? Okay, so this is now the claim. Now, according to one of the Shaykh, Zayd Muhammad Tahir Panjpiri, rahimahullah, he says in this dunya, in this surah, there are two things, two masail that you need to learn in your life. And in return, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you two blessings. One of the masala is that Khaliq li kulli shayin huwa Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. He is the creator of everything. This is one thing you learn. This is coming in this surah. And innahu ya'lamu al-jahra wa ma yakhfa. Another, alim bi kulli shayin huwa Allah. For Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah has the total knowledge of everything. So in these two masail you have learned, Allah will make the understanding of Quran easy for you. When yassir sanuqri'uka fala tansa. Allah will make the understanding of Quran easy for you, which will result in what? When yassiruka lil yusra jannah. Does that make sense? So you have learned two masail, and in that you get two benefits. And if you were to analyze these two benefits, what you basically doing in this dunya, you will give the gratitude to the Quran. You will do shukriya the Quran, yeah? You will give the proper respect and honor to the Quran, meaning you will implement the Quran in your life, you will spread it and so on, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us in here in this surah, which is happening. The first part basically is like your personal obligation with regards to Quran, and the rest of it is your collective with the people. So once you have done proper thanks of this Quran in an honor as a blessing and as a return, for that Allah will give you Jannah in Akhirah. So in this dunya you need to live under the Quran, and in Akhirah you will have goodness waiting for you. Does that make sense? Is that understood? Yeah? Here? Are we here? Okay. Now look at the Quran, the surahs itself, and inshallah we'll break it down. I mean, while you're looking at the Quran. So initially, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the da'wah of Tawheed basically. Yeah? The, believing truly in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have done Tawheed, yeah? Just saying the word Tawheed without explaining it, I feel like I'm saying something which is shallow for you to understand. But you should already know, yeah, that Tawheed has various different aspects. But in a short manner, it is for you to truly recognize who your Rabb is. Yeah. So this is the recognition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in its true essence. It's called Tawheed. So سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. And here is the claim of Tawheed. Thereafter Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs you who that Rabb is. So it's been explained to you. And one of the claim dalil, yeah, is خالق لكل شيء. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء نحوا. All the way till here. So you are being given dalail and they are being explained to you. Then thereafter, once you have recognized this, I mean this is your fitrah. This everyone knows that there is a creator, there is a master, there is a designer. Everyone knows this in reality, but it's just because of their own whims and desires and other motives, they do not want to recognize. Meaning your fitrah is not gone. So with this, what's going to happen? سَنُقْرِئُكَ فَلَا تَنْسَى إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ. Quran will become easy for you to understand. So when the Quran is being recited to you, you will not be thinking it that these are some fairy tales or these are the legends like it has come in وَيْلُ الْمُطَفِّفِينَ. Yeah, in hada illa satirul awwalin. Yeah, you will not be from those people who will not be able to prostrate. You will not be able from وَإِذَا قُرِئَ عَلَيْهِمُ الْقُرْآنُ لَا يَسْجُدُونَ, as we have done. Yeah, those people, they could not prostrate. They could not submit themselves to Quran because the balance was gone. So meaning your balance is still there. This Quran will affect you. You will be able to understand the Quran. So once you have held on to the Quran, what is it going to do? إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ الْجَهْرَ وَمَا يَخْفَى. Your iman on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will become strong. Yeah, it will reach its zenith. Yeah, zenith. It will reach its pinnacle. So once your fitrah is right, and when the guidance has come to you, when the Quran is being presented to you, you will hold on with both hands. What's going to result in with this? وَنُيَسِّرُكَ لِلْيُسْرَى. This will result for you everything, this path in this dunya, your life will become easy in this dunya, as well as the one which is waiting for you in akhirah, meaning Allah will give you Jannah because of this very reason. Now, once you have taken your benefit for yourself, does it mean you just keep it to yourself? Is it just for you? No. It requires you that you give it to other people. It does not make sense, like we have talked about this in إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ, I think, or وَالْعَصْرِ. That it is no, you cannot hold it on to yourself. It is something that, like example, I can give you example for you, but leave the example to aside. You will give it to other people. This is from your responsibility. Like إذا جاء والعصر إن الإنسان في خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات. You have done this, yeah. Now وتواصوا بالحق. You will call other people to the haqq, to Quran, to Tawheed. Yeah, this is from your responsibility. Otherwise, you are in khusran. So you need to do that. So with this, فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. You will remind, you will call people to Quran. And this, there is a big, huge lesson. That the only thing, إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى, the only thing that will benefit, that the only thing that will give true guidance, the only place where you will be able to recognize your master Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is through this Quran. If anyone chooses any other book, any other method, it will be always failure. It will never be successful, no matter what they do. Yeah, what kind of knowledges they learn, how many years they spend and wherever they spend. It doesn't matter. It has to be through this Quran. If this Quran is there, good. If not, then let them tire themselves basically. Thereafter, once you are giving Quran, you will be able to face two types of people, two groups of people. سَيَذَّكَّرُ مَن يَخْشَى. Those people who are in need, those people who wants it, those people who are thirsty for it, then you will give it to those people. Now, you will be able to see other types of people as well. وَيَتَجَنَّبُهَا الْأَشْقَى الَّذِي يَصْلَى النَّارَ الْكُبْرَى. Those people who are mu'anid, those people who are full of ego, those people who think they do not need it. They think The Quran, they do not need Quran, they do not need Sharia, they do not need any religion in their lives. Yeah, so those kind of people you will face as well. So you need to be able to combat both. Thereafter, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives takhweef. By that, you will give warning, you will give threat to these people. You will stand up against them. Yeah? Those people who understand, they will understand. الَّذِي يَصْلَى النَّارُ الْكُبْرَى ثُمَّ لَا يَمُوتُ فِيهَا وَلَا يَحْيَى. So it's talking about akhirah, what is awaiting for those certain types of people. Now, coming back to the first group, which is the munib, those people who wants it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs them how they can progress, how they can understand Quran thoroughly, how they can live their life properly. They will have something that they need to do. Three sifat of them being given. Number one, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى, purification, وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى, and the two are mentioned in here. Inshallah, we'll talk about this when we go there. Now, the thing that, as we mentioned previously, the thing which is standing between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, between you and Quran, what is it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs you. بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. This dunya which is standing between you and Allah, this has affected everything that your conscience has been taken over by this. If this is put to aside, you will be able to come back to reality. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. You will be able to understand the next message, the next wording, the next order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the next guarantee that Allah has given to you, which is that akhirah is better. You will be able to understand this properly if your conscience, if your heart is not overtaken by بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ, the love of this dunya, the hubb of this dunya. Now, this message, is it just given to us now? Is it just for us and has never been to any other people? No. إِنَّ هَذَا لَفِي الصُّحُفِ الْأُولَى صُحُفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى. This message and the thing that's been given to you, this criterion for your success, and the criterion or the thing which if you do not take it will cause loss, has been throughout the time, all the way throughout the history, whether it's the time of Musa alayhi salam or this time of Ibrahim alayhi salam, we're all throughout. Yeah, so it is this message that Allah gives the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala call toward to a thing. It is always the same thing. It's tawheed, to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to work towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Go away, do not make sure this dunya does not become your God, this dunya does not become your goal. Realize your true goal basically. So this is throughout the message. Sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la, that's been given to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has been given to the other prophets, which has come in the Suhuf Ibrahim wa Musa, and the Suhuf Ibrahim alayhi salam, and by that in the other Suhuf which has been mentioned, هذا في صحف الأولى. In every suhuf, every information that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had the same message, calling towards Allah, getting away from the love of dunya. Now, linking with the previous surah, we have already done one, yeah? But we'll just do maybe one or two more. So, as we said, the previous surah, Rasul has been told to wait, to give respite. Now, is this a holiday period for Rasul? Is he going to go on a vacation? No. He's been given a syllabus here. فَذَكِّرْ إِنَّ فَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. He got this job to do. He will call to Tawheed, he will call to Quran, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى سَنُقْرِئُكَ. He will call toward this. So this is his syllabus in this time. Thereafter, in the previous surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives takhweef, and in here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the means to avoid such punishments, which is مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ and فَصَلَّى. And in the previous surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the creation, the existence of creation from sperm drop, yeah, from water and so on. Now in here, the other side of the creation has been talked about, which is happening, فَجَعَلَهُ غُثَاء نَحْوًا, that it has an expiry date, it will expire. So these things that you have, that you're seeing in your sight, they are all insignificant. Like they were at the beginning, it will come to an end as well. So these things that are, you're seeing everything that you ponder over it, they are insignificant. So do not put your love, do not put your heart into that. Realize your true goal. Put it on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is far more superior for you, a better decision. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. Wallahu a'lam. Various different we could have done, but we just leave it to here. Going to the surah itself. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, who has no one like him. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, the one who has created everything, الذي خلق فسوى. Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, he has sent Quran for all to benefit. Ar-Rahim, the especially merciful, he has made the path of Jannah easy to his ahbab, to his special people. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, declare the transcendence, means supremacy, of your Lord the Most High. Or other translation could be pronounce the purity or exalt, glorify the name of your Lord the Most High. Various different translations. And there is a hadith that comes, it's been made sahih by Albani, where it says by Ibn Abbas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam كان إذا قرأ سبح اسم ربك الأعلى قال سبحان ربي الأعلى. So whenever Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to recite سبح اسم ربك الأعلى, then we used to say سبحان ربي الأعلى. So you should say سبحان ربي الأعلى. So this is like we respond to Quran. Like there are other narrations, maybe they are weak, I think, like أليس الله بيحكم الحاكمين. Isn't Allah, to the translation, isn't mean you, isn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the judge of all judges, to me this meaning, yeah? Then you respond, yes, indeed, yeah, bala. So there are some narrations that come. So what basically it means that you respond to Quran. You should be able to speak to Quran. When the Quran is speaking to you, you need to be awake. What the Quran is saying, you need to respond to it. So somewhere where it's talking about Jahannam, somewhere it's talking about Jannah, so you will ask and you will seek refuge in similar fashion. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has been praised, you will praise. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so you will respond to Quran basically. This is the right of the Quran, that you respond to Quran. You just don't become like a statue or like a parrot, yeah, that say things and you don't have a clue what you're doing. Wallahu alam. Okay, so the first word, sabbih. What is tasbih? There are two aspects of that we talked about, yeah. There are two types of that basically two branches of you doing tasbih and hamd in the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His names and His attributes. One is that all the positive things that Allah has mentioned for Himself, not the positive things that we think, yeah. It is the one whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called for Himself. You will attribute that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. These are called sifati thabutiyya. Basically, alhamdulillah, all the hamds. Like we say, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. All praises worthy of lordship is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whether He is Khaliq, Malik, Raziq, Akbar, and so on. All these are for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this one, sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la. Sabbih, tasbih. What is tasbih? This is that all the negativities, for example, getting ill, need of a child, needing of a wife, yeah, need to sleep, need to rest, and things like that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is free from that. So all minuses are removed from Allah, and all the pluses which are given by Allah to Himself are given to Him. So this is when it comes to one portion of Tawheed, which is the sifat, which is the attributes and the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, now, even though there are so many things that we could have talked about, yeah, but we'll just leave it to that. And we'll move on to further, because there are other information and we have already mentioned that in greater details. Now, there are two ways Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says sabbih. One is like it comes in sabbaha lillah, yusabbihu lillah, and so, yeah. So directly you do tasbih of Allah. So you glorify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you exalt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you declare directly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this will be His being. So this would mean like you do not attribute, say that Allah is 2 or 3 or million and billions, yeah. This is in that fashion. Now when it comes to this one, the one we're doing here, it is the name. So anything that which will result, for example, if you were to give that attribute to someone which will cause any damage in the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His attributes, you have done shirk. And this requires a lot of information, but we'll go into that inshallah. So there are a few things in it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Quran, قُلِ ادْعُوا اللَّهَ أَوِ ادْعُوا الرَّحْمَنِ. Yeah, so this is one. That you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with whether it is the name of Allah or Rahman, the entirely merciful. So meaning you can call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with whatever name, as long as it's been given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with His beautiful names that He has given. Now the next ayah which I want to talk about, basically, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. And to Allah belong the best names, so invoke Him by them. By this, you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the names that He has given. Of course, this is one point. The other is that you call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with the rightful attributes. For example, you want Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive you, so you will call Ya Ghaffar. You need some sort of provision, Ya Razzaq, yeah, and so on. yeah, you are in concern, you are worried, yeah, enemy will attack you and so on, yeah. So you will call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the same fashion, ya dhu intiqam, ya jabbar, yeah, and so on, in that fashion, and then you will make the dua in that way. So this is one way of understanding, basically calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with its rightful attributes. Understood this point? Okay, now going forward. وَذَرُوا الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ, and leave those who practice deviation concerning his name. So now these will be all those people, whether they deny some attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those who associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his names. For example, alim al-ghayb, yeah, for who has the knowledge of unseen, those people who go to magicians, those people who goes to these soothsayers, yeah, those people who goes to these peers and babas, yeah, who ask for assistance, yeah, they go to them to take out some ta'weez from some place and so on. So they are giving this attribute of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alim al-ghayb, to this person, saying that this person knows as well, he can dig in to my past and take out problems for me. So this person, these kind of people you need to avoid. Yeah, these are not the one who are the people of Allah, basically. These are shayateen. These are the things that you need to stay away from. Meaning, not stay away from this fashion that you don't give them da'wah, meaning they are not the rightful people. This is not you associate yourself with. Yeah, you call them toward the right way. And there are other things that we could have talked about. We leave it to that point. So because you got other things to do. What is يلحدون في أسمائه? What is deviation concerning the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? First of all, it is that you give names to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from yourself that Allah hasn't specified. So you come with, maybe you're thinking about something beautiful and amazing, and then you say, this is for Allah subhanahu. So I will call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this certain name. Like we have mentioned previously, yeah? These magicians, they have a specific name, Ya Buduh. They write this in the ta'weez and things like that, yeah? This is deviation concerning the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So whoever does this, they haven't done Sabbih Isma Rabbika al-A'la. So we are all talking about this one ayah. They haven't glorified Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with its rightful meaning. So this is one. Another is that those people who, like we said, yeah, gives the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to human beings. So this is another deviation, and we need to understand one point in here, yeah, like we have discussed this previously. There are some attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala where human do have share in it, but they are not like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. For example, Sami', the one who hears, yeah, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, As-Sami', the all hearing is different, yeah. Now you can hear things, but the way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala hears is completely different. Like you can hear things with the phone, you can hear things with the tools and things like that. Without that, if you're sitting over here and someone is speaking in your house, which is about 100 meters away, you're not going to be able to hear, yeah? Which is saying that same thing is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when it goes to kufr. So this is not in that fashion. Or there are three things basically that would be found in the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it's related to us. Like Sami', Basir, the one who sees, the one who is knowledgeable, the one who is strong. We have these capabilities, yeah, but they have limitations. These will have these limitations. Or the one to whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for Allah belongs these three things. Number one, that the things that He has, for example, you just take one aspect, which is the knowledge. For Allah, His complete knowledge. Our knowledge will have shortcomings. For Allah, it's complete throughout. This is one. Number two, meaning there is no limit on the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Limitless. Number two, the one to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those things belonged. No one gave it to Him. Yeah? He was not given by anyone. He did not acquire it from anyone. This is one. And the other is that it is qadim. It is timeless. There is no, He did not get it at certain stage, or He's not going to forget it at certain time of the year or things like that, yeah? Like it happens in a human being. They acquire it like a little kid. He will have less information about things. When he grows, when he's like 40, 50, 60, he will be able to understand many more. But when he goes down to about 100, 120 and things like that, he will fade things away, yeah? And na'udhu billah, Allah is completely free from all these things. Does that make sense? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has attributes like Ghaffar, Kareem, Al-Wudud, and so on. Beautiful attributes, He is forgiving, He is loving, and so on. These are one side of the attributes. Then there are other attributes like He is Shadid Dhu Intiqam, Muntaqim, yeah, and so on, Qahhar. These are other attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now those people who say that Allah is Ghafoor Rahim, Allah will forgive, Allah is loving, and so on, and they have completely neglected that Allah has Adab al-Alim, like نبي عبادي أني أنا الغفور رحيم وأن عذابي هو العذاب الأليم. They have completely neglected the other part, they have done ilhad. You need to be able to live in the balance. You need to be able to understand that yes, indeed Allah will forgive you, but also you need to understand that yes, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you punishment as well. So you need to live in the middle. You need to be able to understand both attributes, both sides of the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Otherwise, you have done ilhad. Which if you choose the others, each side, any side you choose, you will do ilhad. Either you become extremist, like Kharijite, or you will become like Barelvis. Barelvis, I gave you example. You will become like those people who don't have any concerns, whether they please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or displease. And another is that like there are some attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that comes in, one of them comes in Ali Imran. قُلِ اللَّهُمَّ مَالِكَ الْمُلْكِ تُؤْتِ الْمُلْكَ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُعِزُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ وَتُذِلُّ مَنْ تَشَاءُ. The one who honors and the one who disgraces. Now you're calling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, oh, Ya Mudhil, Ya Mudhil, Ya Mudhil, Ya Mudhil. Yeah? Oh, the one who disgraces, the one who disgraces, this is your one in your tongue. This is not rightful. Yeah? You need to be able to have the balance. And this relates to many things, this point. Like sometimes people might be in a sleeping situation, they might be tired, they might be angry and so on, and then you tell them, don't you fear Allah? Don't you fear Allah? You repeat this thing again and again. The guy will be like, he's already not present, yeah? And he was like, I don't care. Yeah, that kind of situation. So these kind of situations you need to avoid. Like sitting in with people who are just saying anything with their tongues, yeah? Just jesting and laughing and giggling and making everything as a mockery, and then you talk about Allah, then it's not a rightful situation. In toilets, in other places, or it comes even in a story. I'm not going to tell you the Sheikh name, but one of the greats, yeah, greats at the time, previously, greats known as to the people. He said, like when there used to be a beggar used to come, he used to tell him when there was nothing available to give, yeah. So he will kind of excuse himself in any other way than the norm, which is like Allah de Malsha, yeah. May Allah help you out in that kind of situation. And instead of that, yeah, instead of using the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would excuse himself in some other way. So if someone asked him, most people asked him, that why do you do it like in this strange way? Why don't you do like everyone else? Yeah? Why don't you do that? So he says that I do not want to mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to anyone when they are in an annoyed situation. I don't want them to hear the name of Allah subhanahu when they are not in a good mindset, basically. Like I have to wake you up again and again, yeah? Like so you are awake. Otherwise you become like those people, yeah, who are annoyed. So I hope you are here. Wallahu alam. So this is from the ilhad that we talked about, that who we have already talked about Rabb and A'la. It requires a lot of information. We will move on. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell us himself, he will give a tafsir of who this Rabb of yours is. Who is this Sabbih isma rabbika al-a'la, who you need to glorify. Alladhi khalaqa fasawwa, who created you and proportioned you. Does that make sense? So this is the reason. Allah gives you reason for you to glorify. The one who has created you, the one who has proportioned you. And we have talked about this as well. What is khalaqa? Like construction, and fasawwa is like the fine tuning. So Allah has created you, Allah has fine tuned you. Furthermore, Allah informs you, وَالَّذِي قَدَّرَ فَهَدَى, and who disdained and guided. وَالَّذِي قَدَّرَ فَهَدَى. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given and prepared things for you that are suitable for you. For example, you are not given the food of an ant, or the elephant is not given the food of an ant, or the elephant or the ant is not given the food of elephant, and things like that. So whatever was needed for you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave that to you. Allah has created that for you. Fahada, furthermore, He didn't even create, this is not the end of it. He taught you how to utilize these things as well. So it's not just the creation, but it is the mechanism for you to understand and utilize. Does that make sense? So this is what fahada is. And there are stages of fahada, the guidances that Allah has instilled in every single person. Number one is the senses that we have, the or rational, intellect, aql, basically. This is one fahada, this is one guidance that Allah has given to you. Like you can, with your hand, I can understand this is a bottle of water, yeah, and things like that. With my eyes, I can come to conclusions. With the ears, when I hear things, I can come to conclusion. With nose, I can smell things. With tongue and taste, I can come to conclusions. For example, I see smoke far away, even though I haven't seen the fire, but I can come to conclusion that there is a fire. So this is one, the intellect that Allah has given to us, the rationales basically. This is one. Another is that Allah has put akhlaqi his, they call it, yeah? This morals that you have. Allah has given that to you as well. You can understand that lying is bad. You can understand cheating is bad. You can understand smoking is bad and things like that, yeah? All those things basically you can come to conclusion. You can understand that these are not right. So these are your morals. This is another. So these two are given to every single person. Yeah, everyone can come to conclusion. Everyone can come to a certain thing, yeah, understanding. Like you can use all those things to come to a conclusion. Like this bottle that has been created, it has been created for water, to hold the water and so on. So it has a purpose. What about you, you human being? You've been created. Is this bottle has more mechanism and things in it, or you yourself? You ponder over yourself. Check out the sciences of yourself. Go speak to your doctor. Yeah, check out your cells and your blood vessels and all those amazing things. Yeah, you came to just by chance. There was no one. This bottle has a creator. This bottle has a designer, but you don't. Yeah, so you use these rationales, you use these akhlaqi his of yours to come to conclusion. So this is one. Now sometimes they are faded and they are like shadowed by, because of so many immorality happening, so many freedoms that's going out there. So you are confused. You meant to get married to your opposite sex, or you meant to get married to a tree? Yeah, so you get confused in that situation. So for that you need guidance. That was a stupid example, but it's just so you can awake. So you can lose your plot basically, yeah, sometimes. Thereafter Allah sends a different types of hidayah. That is in the shape of prophets, that is the shape of books. So this is another hidayah. Yeah, this is not something strange. This is only to enlighten. You already know the reality. The Quran comes to just give it this light. Yeah, to this candle which is flickering, it gives it this stability basically, so you can grow. So this is the Quran does. So this is another type of hidayah. And lastly is called taysir, which is happening in here, وَنُيَسِّرُكَ لِلْيُسْرَى, that Allah directly helps you out. So this we will talk about maybe, don't have time, I don't think, but just mention it quickly. Like you will be, Allah will give you empowerment within yourself. For example, how this empowerment will work, so you can understand with the example. Like we gave example of a boxer, yeah? Initially when he starts boxing, his muscles will be hurting after a few hours, and this, when he hits anything, he will be hurting. Yeah, or taekwondo, his legs will be hurting, or footballer, when he starts, the feet will be hurting, and so on. But when he does it again and again and again, he will be doing the same thing, but now he has become used to, his body has become, and he will be rather enjoying it. He will, without that, he will be feeling short of it. Same thing, when you are living with the Quran, calamities will be coming, will be tough. Small calamity will come, little, someone will say like, look at this guy, backward, and they will hurt you too much. But then when you held on to Quran, Allah will put so much empowerment in you that people, when they are smashing or they're hitting you or they're saying rubbish things about you, instead of you feeling down, you will be enjoying it. You will be feeling it, that this has now different sweetness. Like there are so many ulama, yeah, when they are put in jails, they are happy. When they are taken out, they are happy with every situation. They give their own quotes, but we don't have time for that. So by taysir, Allah makes it that difficulties and issues not going to go away. Yeah, remember this. It's not going to go away. But Allah will give you empowerment. Allah will give you inner strength. And sometimes the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will come from unseen places. But it does not mean you sit at home and the help will come. Yeah, Like in Badr, you have to go out, you need to do all your effort, you do everything, then wait for the malaika and the help of Allah to come. Does that make sense? So basically the first two are within your grasp, you need to utilize these properly, the next two will assist. If the other two are neglected, you haven't used them, the other two is not going to help you out whatsoever. Is that understood? The first two is your your intellect and your manners, your akhlaq, your akhlaq, your his, what do you call it, morals. You need to use them wisely, you need to use them properly, then you will be able to benefit from the other two. Otherwise, the other two by itself is not going to benefit you. Otherwise, it's going to go against the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He does not guide people by force. Is that, are we here? You understand the points, yeah? Good. Sometimes it becomes difficult, yeah? And there are so many things, wallah, we need to give like end of Ramadan to this. No 2 hours. Okay. وَالَّذِي أَخْرَجَ الْمَرْعَى, and who brings out the pasture, and we add the next part. فَجَعَلَهُ غُثَاءً أَحْوَى, and makes it black stubble. So understand two things in here. One, Allah gives example of this pasture. So the ulama say this is not just pasture or the fodder that the animals eat. Yeah, this is all sorts of vegetation that comes out of the ground. Or normally the sheep and things will eat it. And by that there is a hint basically for us to understand. Yeah, just one example, and then we're not going to even to explain this. But so it's only wise for us to speak in a manner that you can understand. Yeah, the audience can understand. Otherwise, there is so much talk in it. If you want to go deep into it, just one example, and you will be able to understand. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam and all the prophets, as they come in the narrations, that they were shepherds. Yeah, they were shepherds. Same Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And sometimes when these things comes out, yeah, these grass and things like that, and the sheep are grazing around, they go and they eat it, yeah. And the shepherd is normally the one who guides it, and sometimes one of the sheep who is being naughty is being grabbed by his collar and sorted out, like sort yourself out and things like that, yeah. This is the job of the shepherd, to look after. Otherwise, the sheep's going to be eating the things by itself, yeah. The shepherd is not coming and throwing it in his mouth, yeah, and then pushing it down in his mouth. Is that the shepherd do? No. Same thing with the Quran, same thing with Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This Quran is like this grass that has been come out. You, as we are like sheeps, we meant to go to the Quran by itself and grab it and eat and take benefit from it. This Quran is not going to come. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not going to be around us all time and throwing it in our mouth. It is for you, it is only natural. Like how is it natural for sheep to eat from the grass and enjoy and take benefit from it? Same. This is the situation of that. We meant to take benefit from. We meant to go to it naturally. Is that understood? And there are other things. There are so many things, yeah, in this few ayahs, but we'll skip it. Ayah number 6. فَسَنُقْرِئُكَ فَلَا تَنْسَى, we will make you recite, and you will not forget. فَلَا تَنْسَى. There is so much talk in here, but as normally you would understand, a student who is eager, who wants things, yeah, they would learn things quickly, so more thing is given to them, so they can progress, they can understand more of that subject. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his love for Quran, his love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cannot imagine. So when the Quran is coming, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's hastening himself, like comes in so many places. وَلَا تَعْجَلْ بِالْقُرْآنِ, like don't hasten with this Quran, yeah, it will come, you will have it. لا تحرك به لسانك لتعجل به إن علينا جمعه وقرآنا, move not your tongue with it, to hasten with it, yeah, with the recitation. Indeed, upon us is its collection and its recitation. When Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is given guarantee, he's been given comfort that do not stress over this. You want it, we can understand this, yeah, but you need to relax with the Quran. Allah will give it to you. This is a guarantee in here. سَنُقْرِئُكَ فَلَا تَنْسَى. Allah will give it to you and you will not be able to forget it. So this is one thing. But this, how do we link it with our lives? He's talking to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but why this ayah is with us? Same thing. If you understood Quran, if you understood Tawheed from Quran, no matter who comes from anywhere, they will never be able to misguide you. As long as you have got Tawheed, as long as you have got the understanding of Allah from Quran. If you have got it from anywhere else, people will bring you another book. Someone will bring you another big sheikh over it. Or this sheikh has said this. Look, so many opinions are there. So many things. Yeah, just mention one thing, yeah, and you will be able to see bombardment of opinions. So this is what they have, yeah, when it comes to the talk of the ulama, when it comes to the talk of the people. But if you want to take Quran directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you take the Quran, understood the Wahid from it directly, you will not be misguided whatsoever. Is that understood? You فَلَا تَنْسَى, meaning you're not going to be able to forget Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will not be misguided from the way. سَنُقْرِئُكَ فَلَا تَنْسَى. Furthermore, إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهِ, except what Allah should will. Indeed, إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ الْجَهْرَ وَمَا يَخْفَى, indeed He knows what is declared and what is hidden. In here there are a full lesson of talks basically, but we will only mention one opinion, that like how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in different places, أَمْ يَقُولُونَ افْتَرَى عَلَى اللَّهِ كَذِبًا فَإِن يَشَإِ اللَّهُ يَخْتِمْ عَلَى قَلْبِكَ, or do they say He has invented about Allah a lie, but if Allah will, He will could seal over your heart. When talking to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if, yeah, like how people claim that you have invented lie about Allah subhanahu, if that was the situation, Allah would have sealed your heart. You understand the point here, yeah? Meaning Rasulullah never did, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never put seal on his heart. But the word here is illa, فَإِيَّشْ إِلَّا, meaning the mashya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like same thing, illa ma sha Allah, except what Allah should will. Meaning this is from the guarantee of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is from the mashia. Yeah, this is from the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that you will not have any issue with the Quran. And by this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying this, that it is not the your gratitude, it is not you who is amazing, but it is your master. It is سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى. It is He who has given you this capability. If He would, He can remove you, He can cause you damages. Yeah, but Allah is the one who needs to be praised. It's not you who needs to be praised. Does that make sense? Is that understood in here? This okay? And there are other things, so many things. We are skipping it. So. And when we'll mention إِنَّهُ يَعْلَمُ الْجَهْرَ وَمَا يَخْفَى, because this is relevant to us in here, by saying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. Indeed He knows what is declared and what is hidden, everything basically. So when the Quran is being recited, maybe people come and ask Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell us about this thing and tell us about this thing. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam might be in haste that Allah sends a revelation and I tell them and these people can understand quickly. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is informing him that Allah knows what is in your heart. Basically, you want this, but Allah also knows what is in these criminals' heart. They didn't come to get guidance, they came to just to tease you. They're not here to understand the Quran, they're not here to implement the Quran in their lives, they're here just to waste time basically. So Allah is aware of what is happening. Or there are so many other implications that we can understand, that Allah knows how sincere you are and how insincere these people are when they come with the questions, or when you give the Quran to them, they do pranks and so on. So Allah is fully aware of everything basically. And there is another way of understanding illa ma sha Allah. If you link it, that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills, people will forget. So this will relate to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam has been given guarantee, full guarantee of Quran, that he will not forget. He will have everything of the Quran 200%. Illa ma sha Allah. But as time passes by, as it gets down to the ummah, people will neglect the Quran, because it belongs to Rasul. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the leader. Yeah, he is like the military leader. Everything under him are his people. So people who belongs to Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam will not be giving the rightful haqq to the Quran. Like look, our situation. Instead of the Quran becoming as a living Quran, something that the Quran would be a walking Quran basically. Yeah. Meaning you understand the Quran, you live the Quran. But unfortunately, it has only become a Quran of recitation, that people recite, like how birds and how radios recite things, but in reality they don't have a clue what they're reciting, and there is no implementation of Quran whatsoever. Yeah, so this could relate to that as well. Wallahu alam. Going forward, وَنُيَسِّرُكَ لِلْيُسْرَى, ayah number 8, and we will ease you toward ease. So, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in different places, وَلَقَدْ يَسَّرْنَا الْقُرْآنَ لِلذِّكْرِ فَهَلْ مِن مُدَّكِرٍ, and we have certainly made the Quran easy for remembrance. So is there any who will remember? So this is one, you understanding Quran. The Quran hasn't come in a language that you do not understand. The Quran hasn't come in some complex way that you cannot comprehend. So it has become easy for you to understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And another is that through this very Quran, Allah make easy for you to get Jannah. So in a syllabus, a to-do list has been sent to you that you do this, you go to Jannah. Instead of you using your own brain, instead of you utilizing your own situation and things like that, and finding Allah, Allah has sent you a straight path. Yeah, like you put in a tom, you go straight there. Yeah, in the navigation. But if you were to use your maps and you used to use your brain, maybe ask someone on the street and things like that, it would be a difficult situation. Does that make sense? A direct path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is this Quran. Now, when you have implemented it in your life and you have understood it yourself, you're not going to keep it to yourself. Yeah? فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. So remind if the reminder should benefit. So there are even in here, there are so many talks as well. Yeah? But just one we will understand. The in here is like إذ or qad, meaning verily. Verily the Quran benefits. So you need to give the Quran. Or the other way, that if it benefits, meaning like for example, if take a situation of a farmer. You are a farmer. Anas, you are a farmer. Are you a farmer, Anas? He's a farmer. Would it be wise for him to give water or fertilization to a land which has this capability of agriculture, meaning things can grow in there? Would that be wise? Yes. Would he give it to rocks? Would he give it to deserts and things like that? No. Maybe Anas would sometime try that, maybe. Yeah, but it's not wise. Yeah, you do not do that. Same is the situation of a da'i. He will look at the people, he will give da'wah. He's not saying that he's not going to give da'wah to everyone. He will give da'wah to everyone, but his priority will be those who wants it, those people who are eager. Like our cool people in Jum'ah, posters out there and so on. But now, is it going to be wise for me to go to everyone's house and give them this lesson, or me just sit here and give it to those people who come? Does that make sense? So this is one way of understanding, and there are other ways of understanding, but we will leave it to that. So, but either way, yeah, you will give da'wah no matter what it is. This is one way of understanding, and the other one is the one who you need to prioritize, like it has come in Surah Abasa, is the one who are munib, the one who wants it. سَيَذَّكَّرُ مَن يَخْشَى. He who fears will be reminded. Now here is the description of those people who this reminder will give benefit. Is those people who have fear, those people who have some light left in them, those people who have some sort of want, those people who have some sort of desire. And there is lots of talk that I want to talk about this in great details, but we don't have time. وَيَتَجَنَّبُهَا الْأَشْقَى. But the wretched one, but bakhta, but nasib, will avoid it. So these are the other people who are mu'anid, those people who are stubborn, who do not want it, who think that Quran, they do not need Quran, their ways are better ways, their cultures are better, everything about them is amazing. Quran, you need to be modernized basically. Yeah, this is their mentality. الَّذِي يَصْلَى النَّارَ الْكُبْرَى. Who will burn in the greatest fire. So this is now their situation. Yeah, this is where they are heading. This is their abode with their attitude. They have earned this with their own hands, basically. ثُمَّ لَا يَمُوتُ فِيهَا وَلَا يَحْيَا. Neither dying therein nor living. This is the situation that's happening to them in the Jahannam. What is going to be their living? And it comes in so many different places. لَا تُبَقِي وَلَا تَذَرْ. It spares no and leave nothing. Or the best thing that they would want, like here it says, yeah, the best thing that they would wish for is the death, that they are destroyed. And this is the worst thing that we can imagine in our time, in our world. So this will be their luxury. Imagine that, yeah, how severe, how tough this situation is. May Allah safeguard us from that. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives glad tidings, and here Allah gives a things like a criterion for one to be successful, how they can achieve that. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. He has certainly succeeded who purifies himself. There are three things, yeah. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ. This is another one, and mention the name of his Lord, and فَصَلَّى, and praise. So we will do all three together and then it will become easy. So first of all, purify himself, remember the name of Allah, and praise. So what they are basically, the three stages. Your mentally, the way you think, your fikr, your khiyalat, yeah, this needs to become proper. So basically the ma'rifah of your Rabb, you need to understand, you need to have the true knowledge of your Rabb. This is one. Yeah, knowing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his true essence. Tawheed ilmi basically. The second is that tazkiyah of your qalb, your nafs, your inner, you need to work on that. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ. With this, you work on your inner, so you will avoid the filth, no chasing your whims and desires. This is 2. And number 3 is Tawheed Amali. All your practical actions are now rectified, they are as per the Quran. When these 3 things come together, then you have succeeded. If anything of them is missing, you are either munafiq or you are Wallahu alam. Okay. There are other ways of understanding this as well. What is tazkiyah? This is removing any ill notions, wrong understandings about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ. Now you're putting everything positive about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your life, like you emptying this water, yeah, this bottle from dirty water, and now you're putting milk in it. So same thing, tazkiyah, remove this thing from rubbish, and now with وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ, you put pure, you put good stuff in there. You put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your heart. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. This become your practical. This become, so what you have internally becomes apparent on your body. بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. Now in here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs us the reason for those people who avoid it, those people who do not choose Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the core reason, their love for dunya. بَلْ تُؤْثِرُونَ الْحَيَاةَ الدُّنْيَا. But you prefer the worldly life. Yeah, the reason for people going away. And as we said previously, yeah, there are 2 types of currencies in this world. We die for earning pounds and things like that. Yeah, this is, we do everything for it. However, the currency that it is beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is المال والبنون زينة الحياة الدنيا والباقيات الصالحات خير عند ربك ثوابا وخير أملا, which is Tawheed, which is the good deeds, living according to the practical life of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is our currency for Akhirah. Now those people who love بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا, which is going to be the criteria, the currency of this world. Those people who wants Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their currency will be the Akhirah. They will prioritize that. So when there are 2 routes comes in the path, for example, the example you will face many times, yeah, mortgage, taking house on mortgage based interest, yeah, this is the one that you take from the banks and so on. Easy path. If you were to take mortgage, your rent will be low, you will own house at the end of the day. So those people who love dunya will have that. Now those people who don't, they will choose the other, living in a rented house, they will be paying more, yeah, it will increase year upon year, and they will not have a house at the end of the day. Those people who love dunya, they will call these people stupid, they will call these people strange, they will call these people weird, these people who do not have they are not clever, and this kind of mentality. So you have understood the 2 currencies, yeah. بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا, those people who prefer dunya. So even a tiny thing like وَيْلُ مُطَفِّفِينَ, we done this, yeah. For tiny profit, they are ready to give Allah, they are ready to give amazing things which are in Jannat and from the pleasures of Allah. They are ready to sacrifice that. Now here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs you what meant to be our goal, what meant to be our way of living. وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ وَأَبْقَى. While the hereafter is better and more enduring. And the ulama gives example. We go about 3 minutes, yeah. So we give you examples so you can understand. Like for example, someone can own a house permanently, even it's rubbish, even it's not there, it's not being built, in comparison to a mansion which is vast. Yeah, you can, even if you want to go to toilet, you need to take a bus. Yeah, so that's big, how big it is. But it's only for 2 weeks. It is a wise person, I'll just put it myself here. A wise person will never choose that mansion which is for 2 weeks or for a week or so. Same thing, this dunya, no matter how amazing you think it is, even though it's not, yeah, in comparison to Akhirah, it's nothing, it's completely opposite. That's like a mansion which is forever, and this is the tiny house, maybe like a bus stand or worse than that for you in here. So you choosing this for 2 weeks or for a little while is complete stupidity, and it's not rational basically. Yeah. So وَالْآخِرَةُ خَيْرُ وَبَقَى. Akhirah is far more better, it's far more enduring. That's what you meant to be your criterion, that which you meant to be heading toward. إِنَّ هَذَا لَفِي الصُّحُفِ الْأُولَى. Indeed, this is in the former scriptures. Like we mentioned, yeah, this is the line naqli, so it's talking about the past. This message that's been given to you about Tawheed, leaving dunya for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, has been given to everyone throughout the time. So it's same message like the one is being told by Rasulullah, or the one Ibrahim alayhi salam came and talked to this Quraysh, or the Bani Israel that have got it from Musa alayhi salam, and so on. They all, the message is the same. Rasulullah is here only to refresh. This is not some new message that you be like, oh, where did this thing came from? What is this thing about? You already know about it. It is always the same thing. So even your okay, continue forward. صحف إبراهيم وموسى, the scripture of Ibrahim and Musa. So Musa alayhi salam is well known in the Christians and the Jews book, which is known to us. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, they consider themselves to be following Ibrahim, living on the religion of Ibrahim alayhi salam, the Quraysh at the time. So they say this is the reason that have been mentioned. Wallahu alam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned it. And Ibrahim alayhi salam and Musa alayhi salam situation, the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has come again and again in so many different places. So there are so many coherence between Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his message and Ibrahim alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam's life. Okay, we link the beginning and the end, and then we can end it, or we can summarize. So this surah basically teaches there is no partner with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us reasons, dalail are given for that, having that He is your creator, He has total knowledge, like has come in the beginning. So Allah's knowledge is comprehensive and extends to all that is seen and unseen, apparent and hidden, present and future, near and far. And this masala of Tawheed has come in the Quran. So you must understand Quran, which is happening in ayah number 9. If you want Tawheed, there is no other alternative for you to understand. It has to be through this Quran. Once you have understood, you will go to Jannah easily, which is happening in ayah number 9, and that will be your eternal abode, which is number 14. The only thing which dragging you back from all this success is your attachment toward this dunya, which is بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا. Yeah, and you are not alone in this message. This message is not only given to you, or this path that you're treading, or that is being told to you. It's not, you're not alone. Other prophets and other people have gone on it, which is happening at the end. Now, beginning and ending. The message of Quran in previous scripture was the same. Like it says, سَبِّحِ اسْمَ رَبِّكَ الْأَعْلَى, and it says, صُحُفِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمُوسَى. So same thing. Tawheed is same throughout. You are just the repetition of the process basically that's happening in the beginning. فَجَعَلَهُ غُثَاءً أَحْوَى وَالَّذِي أَخْرَجَ الْمَرْعَى فَجَعَلَهُ غُثَاءً أَحْوَى. So you are just the repetition. So if you do not take heed, like how other people have become example for you that we have studied so far, you will become example for other people. You are attached to this dunya. It's example, or is like those shrubbery, green shrubbery that has been talked about, yeah, that becomes a little while, become black stubble, become expired. So if you took advantage of it from this green shrubbery, from this greenness, yeah, then it will benefit you. You have done good. And if you didn't, it's going to become expired on you, and there's no return. So same thing, Allah has sent you Quran. So take advantage of this greenness, yeah, from these benefits. If it expires on you, meaning you die, there's no return back to this dunya. Wallahu a'lam. May Allah forgive our shortcomings and accept the good from us. Jazakallah khair. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al-azim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum ila